This is part 2 of the Olteanp 2500W Pure Sine Wave Inverter. I did want to do one thing here and take my multimeter and show you that the voltages more or less read about the same. 13.0 volts on the remote, and then on the multimeter you'll see that it reads 13.1. Now the battery indicator on the left side of this remote control, it is trying to see if the battery's full or not. It's reading accurate here, but when my other battery dropped down to about 95%, it started saying 80% right away, which is not quite right. But I'm going to trust the BMS instead of the battery. Now let's jump on over to the installation. You'll see the tight confines of where I put this unit and that it worked out quite well.
Got it mounted up. These screws are handy because you can put them in and put the screws in, then slide the unit over to go into the grooves. So that was a really neat process there to do that. Got them in up at the top too, and it fits like a glove where I wanted to put it. And the cables that came with it, being 24 inches, are going to reach nicely. That's the thing. They basically, in the listing for this thing, they said the cables are longer than they are. They're only 2 feet, which is good. You want them short, but I think they say that they're about 30 to 31 inches, something like that. They give you a centimeter, and then I had transferred that over to our measurement system here in the U.S. inches, and it came up shorter than they said, but that's fine for my use, but just know that. All right, next steps would be to could wire this to the battery, but I could also go ahead and wire it for my breaker box. So what we're going to do is we're going to have the power coming in from the outside, be on the input here, and then the output will go in here and it will feed my main, which is my 30 amp breaker in my system. And then that will allow me to have everything inside my RV powered when my inverter unit is turned on. I plan to put my panel right here, somewhere in this area, so I can easily get to it. I have to cut a little hole out here and put it in that cabinet filler piece. So that's going to work out nicely. Okay, we've got it all in here mounted and hooked up. See those screws in there? That's neat, the way you can just set them to the center and then shift them over. That allows you to put the screws in. You can always make a template to do that or whatever. It fit nicely in my compartment here. I have not put the covers back on my equipment yet. I just wanted to show you before I did that what's at play here. All right, so my plug that comes in from the outside of the camper is that orange wire right there. So that orange wire comes in from the cord of the camper, right? So this is a pass-through unit. That's a pass-through unit. If it's off, it's passing through my 30 amp service from the campground power pole or the shore power. It comes in, it goes up there to the side of the unit, and it plugs into the terminals on the power input, the bottom side there. Lines at the bottom, then neutral, then ground at the top. Coming back out of that is the other orange wire at the top, coming back into your system, and it'll come into your supply breaker, whatever that is. You may have a main. My main is this 30 amp breaker right here. So it comes in and supplies the RV or the camper. So it supplies your cutoff switch. So when the campground power is off, on, that's what it's doing. It's just passing the power through, right? And if you were to unplug from that and you turned on your inverter, we've got it on already. The remote switch, I plan to put it up here. Let me get that to where it comes through better. You can't see it. You see that it is consuming 0 watts right now. Now when you do this, if you've got a battery charger in your loop, you want to disable it or unplug it. Because what's going to happen, and I've got a Victron battery charger over here. Keep in mind, I'm not on shore power right now. It will start consuming
Basically, the battery starts charging itself. 200 watts, because the battery needs to be charged a little bit. It'll be a float charge after it tops it off, but it's topping it off from itself. So anytime that you plug in and you're on pass-through power, disable your battery charger. That's the only benefit about having a battery charger really embedded in there, is that if it were in this device, and they do make some devices like that, and I'm going to put a link eventually down in the comments to a VeeRoll device that I reviewed. It had a built-in 70 amp charger. All that would be automated, but the trade-off is it's a huge device. It's very heavy. So you can see that wattage is going to go down from the minute I unplug that. Went down to it's 0 watts. In reality, it's about 20 watts, just not registering. 20 watts, 20 to 21 watts being what that uses when it's in standby mode, when it's activated. So now let's give it a little test. As you may know, I've got this window unit in my camper. Apologize, everything's a mess. I've been working on everything. You see it runs just great. We're going to clean up everything, and we're going to put the refrigerator in its place, so we'll plug it up too, and we'll come back and give you another demonstration. Alright, we're testing it now. As you can hear, the air conditioner back there is working off the inverter. See, there's no power hooked up here, and I have the small plug just for at home. I've got a big plug for the road for 30 amp true service. And then if I hook this up, you notice no difference. It's going to prioritize the inverter, but I'm going to leave it hooked up. Show you when it hooks up, when it flips over. All right, I've cleaned up in here somewhat, and it's still running off the inverter. And I plugged that up. I've cleaned this up. I put the refrigerator back in place where I keep mine, and I've got this mounted as well. Easy to do because this was just thin. I cut it with a razor blade. You can see the battery life in there. It's estimating 80%. I think it's a little greater than that. Got to be greater than that, I believe. It's using 760 watts because it's running the air conditioner compressor right now, and it's running the refrigerator. That's sustained, both compressors running. All right, they'll cycle, and then they'll be a lot of times under 500 watts, and even a lot lower than that when the compressors are cycling due to temperature. You've got your AC output is 121 volts and your 12.9. Anytime that the inverter's on, the screen stays on, but the light is here. That's how you turn your inverter on and off. And you'll see under here, I've got everything mounted up just so. I've tidied everything up. Cables just did reach. I covered up this terminal since I've got a more powerful battery now. I've covered it up with tape in the areas where it would be exposed, so no one throws anything accidentally in here and crosses those terminals. It's just a side note. I've just got to slide my water heater back in, but as I might have said on the earlier thing, my electric water heater is just too easy to connect. Hoses there that don't leak because they've got gaskets in them. Mounts on the wall. So let me show you how it prioritizes right now. As I showed you outside, it is on 120 right now from the house, but it has not switched over yet. It won't switch over until you turn the inverter off, and you'll hear the air conditioner go out for a second, come back on with fan only. And now we're off the 120 that the inverter was providing, and we're on the house current. If we unhook the outside right now, it'll switch back over. But there's no cables to switch or anything else as far as in here. So that's the auto transfer and how that works. And this will conclude this video of the Olteanp brand name 2500W inverter install off a 314 amp hour HumSync battery If you have any questions, look down below. Look for links to tools as well as the things that we bought here that you have below. If you use my affiliate links to buy anything on Amazon, it helps me. And I appreciate it. Like, share, and subscribe.